Now, I don't do a lot of videos these days about communism, and I probably should. So, this is just to give you a simple view of economics and why capitalism just doesn't work. This is a calcium pill. Now, if I were to just go to a seedy club and just give out these calcium pills for, I don't know, $0.25 each, and I told people this will severely fuck you up, and people bought them, thinking that they were some kind of hallucinogen or some kind of drug of some sort, and then they would take them and realize it doesn't work. But by then I've already made my money. I managed to fool, 20, 30 people out of their quarters, and while I'm not significantly richer, that's a good amount of money. Now imagine if I did that almost every night. I could make quite a bit of money. And, eventually people would start to recognize me, even if they didn't know my name or anything. They would recognize me. They'd probably tell their people to watch out for this guy, blah, blah, blah. But by then, I've already made my fucking money. That's what you all are not getting. You all just see the end result of, oh, well, somebody can't keep up that deception for long. It doesn't matter. The point is, they already made their fucking money. That's how the video game industry acts. That's how most industries act. They just need to screw you over long enough to make an investment, and then from there they can figure out some other way to screw you over, and that's how they continually make money. So it really doesn't matter whether or not I can continue on doing the same thing over and over and over again. I just need to make some money initially, and then I can worry about those other bridges when I cross them. So where's the accountability? Now, it just, if there's no government, what's to stop me? And, that's the problem with the internet. There is no government regulation. There is no accountability. And then some people might say, oh, well, that's where government's place is, to prevent fraud and shit. Really? Then why aren't they doing it on the internet? What, somehow the internet's a magical fairy place where the rules don't apply? Oh, your precious forum rules apply, don't they? Your terms of service, but the rule of law doesn't fucking apply? What the hell? What world are you living in? What drug are you on? It's obviously not calcium pills. So that's the thing here. It completely boggles my mind how people are so insolent and so stubborn, so arrogant about their own evil worship. And it just makes me sick. It makes me sick how, all these video game companies and moderators and things like that are just taking people for rides and making exponential amounts of money along the way. And that's the essence of capitalism. It's exploitation. It's exploitation of the naive consumer. It's exploitation of the worker. It's exploitation of the land and the water and everything. It's always just exploiting and lying and cheating and stealing and killing. And you don't want to fucking learn. What's it going to take? Is it going to take you to be crawling in the mud? Is it going to be taking you to see a bright light in the sky and then your face melts from the nukes? What's it going to fucking take? I don't want to wait that long. I don't want to wait to see myself die because of your stupidity. And despite what people might think, people's standard of living was better under the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union had a tremendous space program and was already putting robots onto Mars decades before America. The only thing stopping the Soviet Union was, spies and things. American and British and other imperialist spies coming between them and their progress. If the Soviet Union didn't have to worry so much about subversion, they could have spent more time improving on their space program and technology, things like that. Capitalism doesn't create technology. Capitalism only sells technology. Capitalism only hires people to create faulty programming and things and then sells it to the consumer and then just mass markets it. But capitalism does not create anything. Capitalism merely owns, it enforces, and it sells. That's it. So, I really have nothing more to say here. Capitalism ruins everything it touches. Capitalism, by its very nature, cannot make a good product. If anything, it will always sell a shoddy product. It will always sell you a calcium pill over a drug, because a calcium pill is easier to produce. And if they're not going to go for what's easier, they are intentionally going to make it shitty so that you have to go back. They intentionally sell you shitty computers so you have to go back and you have to buy a new computer, or and things like that. It is always a scam in some regard or another. And I'm sick and fucking tired of hearing about moderators talk about their goddamn terms of service. You are an immoral fucktard. Don't fucking tell me about your terms of service. I don't give a shit. You are nobody. You are the scum of the earth. You should be dead. Don't fucking tell me about anything. You are in no position to be giving me rules and barking orders at me. And, by the way, if you care so much about your terms of service and your form, your rules, how come I can't post on news articles? When I go to type away on a news article, like I was trying to do earlier, I don't remember the name of it, I couldn't do it because I have to sign in through Facebook, and I'm banned from Facebook. So, what? Fuck me? Fuck me for thinking that I could go to a site completely unrelated to Facebook and post on it. Either anonymously or maybe having to register and sign in or anything like that. No. If I don't have a Facebook, I don't get to post on a news article. Does that make any sense whatsoever? Why is Facebook anywhere near the news? And if Facebook is that encompassing, if Facebook is that monumental, where, it just covers all these different websites completely unrelated, then maybe they shouldn't be banning people. Maybe they should fucking keep their thumbs and fingers to themselves before somebody cuts them off. Because why in the fuck would you have that kind of monopoly? And nobody's holding you accountable for the monopoly. Then when the monopoly turns around on people and fucking prevents them from doing other things completely on the fuck related to them, you're still not gonna say anything. What's your goddamn excuse then? Are you just gonna sit in your chair and spin your head around about how your farm, your rules, let me lick your testicles some more, Mark Zuckerberg? What is your fucking excuse? Stop making excuses for these murderers, for these child molesters. You're worse than the Joker. You're worse than Charles Manson. You're worse than Hitler and all the other villains you can possibly think of. Because at least they had reasoning. At least they had something to gain out of it. You have nothing to gain from all of this. You have nothing to gain from the monopoly. You have nothing to gain from just getting banned from one place and then it affecting you everywhere else. You have nothing to gain from the capitalist enterprise that tells you that you have to bust your ass every day for the bare minimum. You have nothing to gain from a capitalist system that tells you that this is your product, this is what we're selling you, a piece of shit, either that or a fake goddamn calcium pill, or whatever. You have nothing to benefit from any of this, and yet you continually defend it. It is your fucking god. And I wish something would happen. I just wish that you would fucking die, or that, just all of this would collapse. All of this Roman Empire would collapse on your goddamn head. Because it makes me sick to my stomach. You worship a devil. You worship the whore of Babylon. You worship fucking golden calf Mammon, or whatever the fuck it's called. But, whatever your religion is, it's nothing good. It's not any kind of old school religion. It's not Islam or paganism or any of that shit. You don't worship nature or the stars or, Christianity's God or nothing. You worship this idea of pure evil. You worship this idea of manipulating your fellow man and just fisting them up the asshole. And then you expect me to fucking listen to you and take you seriously and give your position legitimacy. Fuck you. The only thing separating me from you from pulling out every single one of your teeth is because that would be an ego. Oh, that gets enforced. But the fucking monopoly empire that Facebook has, government wipes their hands with. Probably because Mark Zuckerberg's paying them off. Probably because Mark Zuckerberg gives them a whole lot of money to keep their mouths shut. And, that's what capitalism comes down to. At the very least, you need government to keep it in line. Because if you're going to be screwing people over, you're not going to want to get screwed over yourself. So, you're going to have to use government to some level. I'm sorry to tell you, libertarians, but real capitalists get that. They get the fact that some government is beneficiary to them. And that's why a lot of them are neoconservatives. Your blind ideology to this free market will never happen. Because by the very nature of your ideology, they won't let it happen. Because if greed is the supreme feeling, then greed dictates that they will need government to protect their greed. And so it isn't communism that's flawed, it's your own fucking religion fantasy that is flawed. Because by the very nature of your fantasy, they would always turn on itself, because it would be beneficiary to themselves. It would be self-motivation. So, how are you not getting that? Even if somehow magically there'd never be any government, what do you got to look forward to? Fluctuating price rates, fluctuating job rates, you know, shit like that, where people can screw you over at the drop of a hat. You know, there's no certainty in anything in the marketplace, and you basically gotta take guesses and just go with it, where it's survival of the fittest, and luck and shit like that plays the hugest role. You know, that's no way to live. That's just you may as well be a fucking caveman. In fact, you'd probably be better off as a caveman, because then you wouldn't have to comply to these ridiculous standards of society. You wouldn't pretend that there's some facade of civilization, and then you could just stab someone with a fucking stick and eat them, and that'd be it. But no, you want to keep this facade of a civilized nation, and then you want people to live in the mud and live in ghettos and fucking shoot at each other and manipulate each other to make ends meet. What the hell's wrong with you? You must be on something other than calcium. So, that's really all I have to say here. Like I said, I don't do enough videos about communism, and, you know, I probably should. That way people really understand what I'm getting at, why I connect anti-moderator stance to my communist stance. I mean, the simple answer is the fact that, you know, I'm just fucking sick and tired of people saying, oh, it's my property, I can do what I want. Then you don't get property. Fuck you. No more property. Screw you. Now what? No property, no rule enforcement, no terms of service. And, you know, there might be other methods of going about that. There might be even people out there that are libertarian, that are anti-moderator, but I sincerely doubt it. I mean, I'm sure they could rationalize it, but that would first be presuming that they're capable of rationalizing. And if they were capable of rational thought, they wouldn't be libertarians. So, you know, I can't rely on that. I can't rely on people that believe that, you know, capitalism is good, but that there should be certain precautions to it, that there are certain limitations, because while indeed that is true always, even the most vehement capitalists will admit that, they will never admit that when it comes to them, the poor, the normal person, because it is in their nature to worship the CEOs, Alan Greenspan, Bernie Madoff, things like that. That's who they love. That's who they wish they could be, and they know they'll never be that, but, you know, they'll just lick those testicles anyway, because it's a religion. It's just a fucking religion. It doesn't have to have any basis in reality. The fact is they believe it so strongly. So, I guess that's all I have to say here.